Feel like January just started, like 2025 just started like yesterday, and all of a sudden it's not February. Like, how is it February already? Oh my gosh. So January is over and I'm so grateful for all that I've learned. Honestly, I feel like this January was one of my best Januaries ever, and I've learned so much that it almost tops everything that I learned the entire last year. So if you're interested to see what I've learned and how it has changed my life and my mindset, which is a big thing for me, then you might want to keep watching. Now, if you're new here, welcome. If you're not new, welcome back. If you are new, then it means that I do need to introduce myself. I'm Kimani and welcome to my channel, Hauling This Together. Now, I'm on this personal development journey and I'm sharing as much as I can on this YouTube channel and also on my social media. So if you're into personal growth, personal development, productivity, organization, and the occasional corny jokes, then you have found your people, and I hope you stick around for a while. Now, I've never done anything like this before, but this is a new series that I'm starting where at the end of each month I share all the lessons, or as many of the lessons, or the top lessons. As you can see, I haven't figured out all the details yet, but I share the top lessons that I've learned the month per, and hoping that you guys will learn them too, so that you don't have to go through all the things that I have to go through to learn them. Being honest, January was filled with a lot of realizations, a lot of new strategies, and most importantly, a lot of growth. If you've been following me on my socials, then you already know some of these things. If you aren't following me on socials, then it will pop up on the screen right here and you can check me out. I do post there more frequently than I do on YouTube, so check me out if you want to follow along with this journey a little bit closer. But yeah, without further ado and any more chatter, because I'll be here chatting all day if you allow me, let's dive into all the lessons that I've learned January 2025. These are in no particular order, it's just the order that they popped up in my head, so none is more valuable than any, but let's get right into it. The first thing is the power of prioritizing 3 things daily. Oh my gosh, this one was one of those big ones where I'm like, wait, why did I not think about this before? Why did I not know this before? Like, that's crazy. It's so simple but so effective. Now, if you've been subscribed for a while, then you know that I'm very much into lists and systems. If you can think of a list, I have it. If you can think of something that could possibly go in a list, I've done it. And I also love planning out my day, not just with to-do lists, but also with my Google Calendar. Now, something I realized is that I would pack too many things in my days, and while I would get most of the things done, it happened for a while and then I just wasn't as productive anymore. There was just so much that I had to look forward to, and looking at the day as a whole just seemed so long and so tedious and just so stressful. Worse, if I look at the entire week together, it's just too crazy, and so I started to slack off with my productivity. 2 tools that would have been the most amazing way for me to be productive and be organized was doing the opposite. It was making me not productive at all and literally just procrastinating, wasting time, because there's an overload in my head, and it's almost like I was having analysis paralysis or something along that line. And so what I decided to do was that I'm just going to shrink my to-do list as much as I could and only prioritize 3 things, or if less, then that's even better, but a maximum of 3 things per day, and just let that be my focus. It would have additional things on my to-do list, but once those 3 things are done, it's a great day, it's a successful day for me. And if everything else gets done too, or anything else gets done too, then fine, it works, whatever at that point. But my priorities had to get done first and foremost. Literally, the first week I tried this, it was the first week in months that I actually had an entire to-do list completed. Like, every single thing was checked off, and I'm just like, wait, was this all I needed to do to begin with? And then, while I do have some things on my to-do list that aren't necessarily priorities, I would only add those 3 things that are priorities along with my morning and night routine to my Google Calendar, and so it wasn't seeming so filled, and it wasn't like I was planning every single hour of my day, which was very stressful to look at. So that was last week. That was the first week in forever that I've actually completed my to-do list. This week I tried that same strategy and I only had 2 things that got missed from not my priorities but from my to-do list overall. One thing on Thursday and then one thing yesterday was missed, and today is Saturday when I'm filming this video, and so I've just dragged those things to today. If I get them done, great. If not, it's also okay because it was a productive and successful week regardless. So give that a try if you are feeling overwhelmed by the number of things that you need to get done on a day-to-day basis. The second thing is action brings confidence. And honestly, I had it twisted all this time because I thought I had to have the confidence in myself to do certain things, to make certain moves, to do whatever it is that I want to do with my life. But now I'm realizing from the month of January that action brings confidence. Sometimes things may seem scary, but once you get started and you do that first action, then you start feeling, oh, I can do this, and then you start trusting yourself more, and that's how you actually build the confidence to do the things that you want to do, because you keep putting action in. Think about anything that you can think about in your life that you didn't feel confident enough doing, or you didn't feel like you were capable of doing it. The minute you decided that, okay, I'm just going to kick fear in the ass and I'm just going to take that first step, the more you take those first steps, the easier the thing becomes and the more confident you feel in doing it. So for example, the first time I was supposed to film a YouTube video, I was so scared. I'm like, wait, I don't know how to confidently show up on my camera, on my screen, and present whatever it is that I'm presenting. But now, after multiple times of filming a video, I'm showing up a lot more confidently. And even with filming individual videos, that first clip, I'm usually not really feeling myself. I'm usually feeling a little bit shy or a little bit timid. But by the third or fourth or fifth clip, you can see how my energy changes and how the confidence starts showing more. This one is a little similar to the previous one, but fear shrinks with action. Like, everything just requires action for things to happen. Like, for the ball to get rolling, you have to kick it or push it or move it in some way. And so fear gets shrunken with action. What does this mean? So sometimes we'll have something in our heads that we want to do or want to face, want to accomplish, but the fear seems so big and it's like, I could never do this because it's just too scary, it's too big, it's too whatever it is. But the minute you start taking action, that's where that confidence comes in, and with that confidence you want to put in more action, and the more you put in that action, the smaller the fear feels. Let me give you an example. If you've been following me on my socials, which if you haven't, I post there a lot more frequently. I actually post there every single day, and so if you want to watch my personal development journey or just to be closer and let's be friends, then you can follow me on all socials, which will be linked somewhere on the page right now. Now, if you follow me on any socials, then you'd know that I started going to the gym some time ago. Not very long ago, a few months at this point. The first time I was supposed to go to the gym, because of my injury, because I've never gone to a gym before, there was a lot of fear that was built up in my head and I just didn't want to do it. It was so scary. First time I went with my partner and we worked out and it felt okay, a little bit better. But then the first time that I was supposed to go to the gym by myself, I literally cried. I cried until my eyes were so puffy. I'm like, I'm not leaving the house. But then some part of me was like, you have to do this and you cannot depend on others for you to be consistent and for you to go after the things you want. And so I decided I'm going to go to the gym. And now I've been going to the gym for a few months and it's honestly way less scary than it was when I just started. Another example is me creating content. I want to be a lot more consistent with my content creation, but it's just so scary and I allowed fear and overthinking to hold me back so long. But since I started this 100 days of content creation for short form content a few weeks ago, it has honestly changed so much about me, including my mindset. It has changed how I see content and it's no longer scary. I'm no longer overthinking it. I'm no longer fearful of what people may think, how they may receive it or anything. I just take my camera up, I film a video, I edit and I send it out. Sometimes I don't even edit. That's how much it has changed for me and how small the fear has been now that I'm doing it more often and the action is actually being done. There's something that I always say to my best friend and she always says to me, if you can't fight the fear, then do it scared. So I'm telling you, if you can't fight the fear, just do it scared. The next one is consistent small steps will have a big impact. Now, what does this mean? You probably already know what it means, but let's get into it. A little bit of consistent action can make the world of difference, and it doesn't matter what action it is that you are being consistent in. It will make a huge ass difference at the end of the day. Once you consistently do this thing, it will become a habit. Let me give you my example. As I mentioned in one of the previous points, I've been doing this 100 days of consistency, and I'm not even halfway there yet, but I can already feel the difference. I can see the difference. People who are out there watching my content have been seeing the difference. They've been calling, texting, whatever, commenting, just to let me know that they can see the progress. So with this content creation consistency challenge, not only has the changes been with me and how I'm actually feeling and presenting myself and being more confident and showing up more, making this like habitual more than anything else, but also my content has grown. My content has been way better than the first video that I made, or even the last 10 videos that I made. The ones that I'm doing now, because of this consistent action, there's a whole lot more growth than I could have ever imagined if I wasn't being consistent. Another example is another part to that consistency challenge. So I'm doing content creation, but I'm also doing gratitude journaling, and being able to gratitude journal for the past however many days I've been doing this consistency challenge. Everything is so shifted that I'm like, am I a brand new person? It has allowed me to see the world through a different lens just by me almost rewiring or retraining my brain just through this one consistent action. Now, for those two examples, I'm kind of on the receiving end where I'm seeing the difference and whatever it is. But the gym situation, I'm trying to be consistent with it, but I'm not necessarily seeing huge results as yet. But I know that I just need to keep putting in the work, and in a few months I will definitely see what all that hard work has paid off with. And so I'm telling you that to say, whatever it is that you need to be consistent with, start small. It doesn't matter how small you start, but be consistent in your efforts, and I promise you that you will have a big impact at the end of the day. The next one is to trust God's timing, and this is one that I struggled with throughout the whole of 2024. And I just got up one day and I said, you know what, God, I'm leaving everything in your hands. Whatever your plan is, I'll go with it. Whatever your timing is, I'll work with it. And I kept praying for patience and strength, and I'm just like, you know what, I'm going to stop worrying, stop being so anxious, stop being so stressed about the things that I can't control. And I know that is something that's easier said than done, but I had to do that and just be like, okay, you know what, I can't change it anyways, and worrying is not helping anyways. I can't control everything that happens in the world, and so I'm just going to trust God's timing. Trust that He has my best interest at heart, and He knows a lot more than I do, and that's what I did. And so I'm telling you today that if there's something that you want, a goal you want to achieve, and it's not really coming something you want for your life, and you're not really seeing it close, no matter what that is, I'm telling you, trust God's timing. It will come. So there was this one specific thing that I was praying for over and over every single day, every single night. Whenever I'm praying about this one thing, and I just didn't see my way out. I didn't know what was going to happen, and I was praying for 6 of this specific thing. 6, that's all I needed, 6. And funny enough, I just stopped and I said, you know what, whatever is your will, then let that be. I ended up getting 12. Prayed for 6, got 12. Like, why not trust God's word? He knows best, and He will always deliver. He will never disappoint. And that leads us into the next one, which is prayer works. I don't care who or what you pray to, whether it's God, the universe, Allah, Buddha, whatever it is. I just know that prayer works. So if there's anything that you have on your heart, whatever desires you may want, whatever plans you may have for your life, just take it to the Lord in prayer. Just take it to the Lord in prayer, and He does answer prayers. It doesn't have to be when you want it, but it will always be on time. There's so much that I was praying for in 2024, and it's so crazy how the realization that, oh, this actually happened. Like, I prayed for it and this actually happened. And For me, I felt like I was doing this for years where I was praying and I was probably getting my prayers answered, but I wasn't really noticing. And so something that I changed to, which I think has a great impact on this, is I started prayer journaling, and everything that I would pray about, I would write it. Even if it's just in like bullet points, I would write it. And it kind of made me more aware of the things that I'm praying for, the things that I'm looking forward to, the things that I'm hoping will come my way, that I'll attract, whatever it is. And it's so much easier for you to say, oh, I'm actually living in a prayer that I prayed a month ago or a year ago or 10 years ago. However long that timeline may be, it's so much easier for you to see it when you do have a record of this. And so if you've never tried prayer journaling before, definitely try that. Another thing that I've done in 2024 that I'm now seeing the impact looking back, especially in January of 2025, is fasting. Prayer and fasting goes together like peanut butter and jelly, like Jesus and the cross, whatever you want to call it. The next thing is one of the most impactful things, to be very honest with you. Like, if you listen to nothing else, listen to this one, especially if you are an overthinker. I found one simple thing that has stopped my overthinking, or at least reduced it significantly. Something that I never thought would work because it's so simple. And I never thought I would be someone who doesn't overthink as much. This is speaking out. Like, stop overthinking by speaking out. That sounds so simple, but it's something that never occurred to me until now. When I overthink, that's because I have a thought, a situation, a concept in my head, and I play it over and over and over, and I think of every other thing that may be linked to it, and I just overthink. Now, if you have the thought in your head and that's what's causing the overthinking, doesn't it make sense to take the thought out? So take the thought out of your head and put it out in the open, and it will actually stop your overthinking. This worked for me and I hope it will work for you. However way you want to take that thought out of your head, that's completely up to you, whether that's through journaling, talking, or whatever it may be. It could be storytelling through videos like this. Whatever your outlet may be, just take that thought out of your head and put it out in the open, and you will be so surprised by how that actually helps your overthinking. Sometimes it's not just the act of talking that helps, but let's say you're talking to somebody else, having that point of view, especially if it's the person that triggered that situation that you're overthinking about, having that second point of view may help so much in you stopping to overthink. For example, if I said something to somebody and their response was received in a negative way for me and I'm overthinking about that, talking to that person to say, hey, you said this and I don't know if this is what you meant, but this is how I felt about it and it has me overthinking. You may get a different perspective and realize that that person that caused you to overthink about a situation, their intention may not have been what it came off as, and they may not have had any ill intent. And so you getting that perspective and getting that point of view from them, that understanding will definitely help you to clear that up, because you're like, okay, I was just overthinking, I don't need to overthink about this anymore. Now let's move on. I kind of touched on this a little bit before, but this point is gratitude changes everything. Like, the way gratitude has changed my mindset in January 2025, I never thought that it would. And I did do some form of gratitude journaling before, where I just wrote down 3 things that I'm grateful for. But this specific way that I've started to gratitude journal and just be more grateful for the things that are around me, no matter how small or how big, it has honestly changed my mindset. So much so, it honestly blew my mind when I realized that, oh, look at me. It has changed my mindset so much, and the way I view the world is no longer as negative or as, oh, this didn't happen and that didn't happen and I didn't get this. And I said on my Instagram some weeks ago at the start of the year that I wanted to start this gratitude challenge where I do gratitude journaling, writing down 5 things that I'm grateful for 100 days straight, because I needed to change the way I was viewing my life, the way I was viewing everything that was happening around me. I started the year 2025 being a very Debbie Downer person, and I was focusing more on all the things that I didn't get to achieve in 2025, all the steps that I didn't make, all the changes that I wanted to make and didn't, all the progress that didn't progress along as much as I wanted. And I was just so focused on all the negatives that I was missing all the good things, all the positives, all the things that were worth being grateful for or are worth being grateful for. And just after a week of doing that challenge, I could see the changes in my mindset. It got a lot easier to write those 5 things. Before, it would take me a while to figure them out, and now it's taking me like 3 minutes tops to do that entire gratitude journaling process. And so if you've never tried this before and you're kind of in the negative mindset, focusing on the things that you don't have, and you want to be a little bit more grateful, you want to be able to enjoy your life, appreciate the things that you have and where you are in your life, then definitely think about being a little bit more grateful and following the process, or a similar process to what I've been doing. This one is another big one. Consistency looks different every single day. Now, in my head, when I heard consistency, it means doing the same thing every single day for however long it may take for you to reach to whatever end goal you want or whatever timeline you may have. But it made me realize that consistency looks different every single day. Like, let's take the gym for example. Let's say you're going to the gym 7 days a week. Today you may do 1 hour of workout. Tomorrow you may be tired, it may have been a long day, or you may not be feeling it, but you still want to be consistent and you may just do 30. Or another day you might be really amped up, you're having a bomb playlist in your ears and you do 2 hours. Are you consistent? Yes, you are. Is the effort or the way that your output the same? No, but the fact of the matter is every single day you went to the gym. So you may feel like, okay, I'm not really feeling up to it, but I'm going to do this thing and it might not be my best work, but you know what, I'm going to show up anyways. I promise you that the consistent effort, no matter what it is, will pay off in the end. And you cannot expect the same level of output from yourself every single day, because things happen, life happens, and we have to adapt. And don't be too hard on yourself. Offer yourself grace, because not every day will be the same. This one I learned in 2024, but it came up again in January 2025, and I really had to just sit down and look at it and reflect. But support comes from unexpected places sometimes. Sometimes we may start a venture, or we may decide to do something with our lives and we expect that our biggest support is going to come from family and friends. And I'm here to break it to you that sometimes that does happen, but also sometimes you may be supported so much more from strangers than you will your family and friends, and that's completely okay. There's this saying that says it's easier for a stranger, a customer, a supporter to become a friend than for a friend to become a supporter, or a client, or a customer, whatever you want to input as those titles. But it's easier for a stranger to do it sometimes than for your friend to become a client or a customer or a supporter of yours. And it's so true. And it makes me think about when I just started YouTube, or I just started my business. Many friends and family didn't really see the vision, they didn't really understand, and they didn't really support the way that they do support now. But in the beginning, it was always strangers. Like, there's this one person that I didn't even know her before, but she kept watching all my YouTubes. Shout out to Yanni Baker. If she's on here, chances are she's usually one of the top 5 people who are here and who comment. And she was watching every single video. I didn't even know who this girl was, but she was watching, she was subscribed, she was liking, she was commenting, and I had no idea who she was. And I just appreciate her so much. And I'm just saying that to say, take the support. It doesn't matter where it's coming from, and don't focus on where it's not coming from, but instead focus on who and where it's coming from. Okay, the second to last one is believe in yourself, even if it's just a little bit. Now, this is a lesson I had to learn the hard way in January, because I'm the kind of person who I seek validation a lot from friends, from families, from the people who knows me well. I always want to run my plans or run my whatever goals by them to see what they think, and then I expect to be validated. And sometimes they don't necessarily believe in the vision that I have or believe in the dream, and so that affects me and how I show up. But the minute I started saying, you know what, I cannot depend on others and I need to depend on myself, and so I need to believe in myself the same way I want others to believe in me, or the same way I believe in others, it started changing so much. And I'm here right now making this video only because of that change in belief. Me believing in myself instead of the opinions of others so much. So I'm saying that to say to you, you don't need the world to believe in you or believe in what you want to do. You just need to believe in it. You just need to be passionate about it and go after whatever it is that you want to go after, and I promise you, you will thank me later. And now for the final lesson that I had to learn. And this kind of ties everything together, to be honest. Do what you love regardless, and forget about the outside opinions. I was saying this for years, but it didn't really register. But I kept saying it only makes sense for me to do the things that I want to do with my life because people are going to have an opinion anyways. If you do bad, people are going to talk. If you do good, people are also going to talk. Yes, it feels better when you do good or something that they perceive as good and they talk about it, but whatever makes you happy, even if the world doesn't agree, your parents, your family, your sister, your brother, your uncle, your friends, your classmates, whoever it may be, your neighbors, random strangers online, whoever it may be, they will have their opinions, but you just have to know why you're doing what you're doing and to keep going. When I wanted to get my septum pierced, people had so many opinions. I got it anyways. When I wanted to dye my hair a million different colors at different intervals in my life, people had their thoughts, they had their opinions. They didn't think it was something that I should have done, being someone in church, being a Christian, whatever it was. They had their thoughts. I did it anyways. But then at some point, I allowed these opinions, these thoughts, these feelings of others to really weigh me down. And now I'm just at a place where I'm like, I'm not thinking about that anymore. Wanted to start a business and I allowed the thoughts and the fears and opinions of others to hold me back. Wanted to be consistent with my content and I allowed that fear, the overthinking and all their thoughts, their opinions to just weigh me down, and I didn't want to. But here I am. The fact that I'm making this video right now, you know that that's something that I am no longer allowing to have that big of an impact on me, and so I hope you will do the same. Anyways, these are the top, I think, 12 lessons that I learned in January 2025. I'll see you guys for February 2025 and the lessons that I've learned in that month when it comes to the end of it. So that's it for this video. Check out my other content if you like being over here. I hope that you learned something from the lessons that I learned, and so you won't have to learn them the hard way. I'll see you guys in the next video, but until then, just remember to do something today that will help you to be a little bit better than you were yesterday. Bye.